Hello, friends. I am really glad that you decided to join us here today at Junction. We've got some fun songs for you and a really cool Bible story. But first, I have something I want to show you. Can you guess what this is? That's right, it's a teaspoon. Now, you might use your teaspoon to stir your hot chocolate or to eat your cereal. But there's something that I love doing with a teaspoon.
Yo, Marilyn, is it story time yet? I've been waiting like all day.
Hi, Randy. Yes, it's almost story time. But first, I was showing everybody what I like to do with a teaspoon. And this is it.
I'm going for a world record, dude.
Now that's a little bit silly, and it's fun, though, to do. And you might try it at home. Just give the spoon a little blow and try to hang it off your nose. Now it may fall, but that's okay. Just pick it up and try it again. But there's actually another reason why I brought this teaspoon today. And after our story, I'm going to tell you what it is. Randy, I'm going to need your help to tell the story today.
Righteous.
Now, can you go and find Rose and Sammy, please? Because I think we're going to need their help today to tell this story. Thank you. While we're waiting for everyone else to get here, why don't we play a little game? This is a guessing game. I want you to guess the kind of animal that I'm thinking of. Okay, this first animal that I'm thinking of has big floppy ears, and he walks on all fours, and he's a great big animal, and he has a big long nose. Do you know what it is? That's right, it's an elephant. Can you make a noise like an elephant? Oh, that's very good.
I found everybody, yo.
Hi, Sammy. Hi, Rose. We're just playing a little guessing game here. Can you guess the animal that I'm thinking of?
Is it a turtle?
I think it's an owl.
It must be a squirrel.
Hold on. I haven't even given you the clues yet. The animal that I'm thinking of has long ears and hops around on his hind legs.
A kangaroo?
Very good guess. A kangaroo does hop around on his hind legs, but the animal I'm thinking of is much smaller than a kangaroo.
Maybe it's a rabbit?
Yes, it is a rabbit. Can you all hop like a rabbit? Well, our story today is not about an elephant, and it's not about a rabbit, but there is an animal in it. And this animal has really big paws, and he wears a bushy mane around his neck.
It's a lion. Roar!
You got it, Rose. It is a lion.
Roar!
This story is from the Bible. It's from Daniel chapter 6. And our friend Daniel will get very close, a little too close maybe, to some hungry lions. Now, first I want to see what I can find in the prop box, though, to help us tell that story. Let me get the prop box. Okay, here's the prop box, and we got to find, here's a coat for Daniel, and a crown for the king, and bushy mane. This should do nicely. Randy, you can be Daniel. So you could dress in this old coat.
Righteous.
And Rose, you'll be the king. So you can have a crown.
All hail the king.
Sammy, I want you to be the lion, so you can dress in this fun lion's mane.
That means I'm the main part.
Okay, I think we're all set now. Now, Daniel was a very bright and smart young man, and Daniel loved God. 3 times a day, Daniel would get down on his knees and pray to God. Now, the king liked Daniel a lot, and he knew that Daniel was very wise, so he gave Daniel a very important job. Daniel would be the king's right-hand man.
Marilyn, what does that mean?
Well, it means that Daniel and the king would rule the kingdom together, sort of like a team.
Oh, I get it now.
But there were other people who worked for the king as well, 120 of them. And they were jealous of Daniel. They didn't like all the attention he got from the king. So they looked for a way to get him into trouble. But Daniel always did his job very well. He was honest and kind and trustworthy, so they couldn't find anything wrong with him. But they knew that Daniel prayed 3 times every day, so they came up with a plan. They went to the king and they said, "King Darius, you are the greatest.
I am the greatest.
You are number 1 in all the land.
I am number 1.
You should make it a law that for the next 30 days, no one is to pray to anyone but you." Well, King Darius liked this idea.
I like that idea.
You see, he thought that he was the most powerful of all.
Marilyn, when does the lion come in?
It's coming up, Sammy. But first, let me tell you what the law decreed. It said that if you were caught praying to anyone else but the king, then you would be thrown into the lion's den. That's a pit where they keep hungry lions.
Roar!
Well, Daniel knew that he couldn't stop praying to his God, even if his life depended on it. So he kept praying to God every day with his windows wide open so that everyone could see him. And it didn't take long for those angry men to find Daniel praying. And they arrested him, and they brought him to the king.
Yo, hold your horses, Marilyn. I thought the king liked Daniel.
Well, the king really did like Daniel, and he was horrified that Daniel had broken the law and had to be punished. So he tried his best to find some way to free Daniel. But the law was the law, and once a law has been made, not even the king could change it. So he had no choice. The king had to throw Daniel into the lion's den. And as they dropped Daniel in, the king shouted down, "Daniel, may your God, whom you serve so faithfully, save you." And then he went away, very, very sad.
Roar, roar, roar!
Watch the shell, bro. Watch the shell.
Hold on, Sammy. That's not what happened.
But I'm a hungry lion, and I'm in the mood for some turtle stew.
Well, let's see how the story really ends. Now that night, the king didn't sleep at all. He tossed and he turned because he was so upset. And as soon as the sun came up, he rushed down to the lion's den. And he peered into the darkness and he yelled, "Daniel, has your God rescued you?" And there was Daniel, safe and sound in the lion's den, with the lions sleeping and purring all around him. And when they lifted Daniel out of the pit, there wasn't even a scratch on him because he had trusted God. Daniel explained to the king that God had sent an angel to shut the lion's mouth and rescue him. Isn't that a great story?
So they all lived happily ever after? What happened to the people who tricked the king?
Well, the king wasn't very happy that those people had tricked him into signing that terrible law. So he had them thrown in the lion's den. And then he made a new law. And he said, "In this decree, I want everyone in the whole kingdom to worship the God of Daniel."
Yay! Roar!
Now, let's go and find Duke and see if he has a song for us. Oh, shh, he's asleep. Let's wake him up, shall we? On the count of 3, I want everyone to shout, "Wake up, Duke." Are you ready? Wake up, Duke!
Hey, everybody. Thanks for waking me up. What can I play for you?
Duke, we've just shared the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Do you have a song that we can sing that would help us remember that story?
Daniel in the lion's den, you say? Let me think. Ooh, lolly, have I got the perfect song for you.
In the time of the Bible in a faraway land lived a man of God and his name was Dan. Daniel walked with God in one accord. In the morning, at noon, and late at night, old Daniel sought that heavenly light. 3 times every day he'd take it to the Lord. Now Daniel had a job in the king's command. He was a mighty big wheel all over that land, and a man of God is gonna rub some people wrong. So the friends of the king said, "What do we do? Somehow we gotta lose that Jew." And they looked for a way they could bring old Daniel down. Then somebody shouted,
"Hey, stay cool. Now all we gotta do is make a new rule that nobody prays to nobody but the king. And the man whose knees refuse to bend gets a dinner reservation in the lion's den."
They talked the king into it, and he signed the thing. Pray, Daniel, pray. Take it to the one who knows your every need. Pray, Daniel, pray. Heaven's windows open up when you believe. Well, if you want to see the devil run, listen to me. You gotta spend that time down on your knees. You gotta pray like you believe, like Daniel prayed. So they watched for Daniel the very next day, and sure enough, in the usual way, 3 times Daniel went to the Lord in prayer. And the next thing he knew, they were taking him down to talk to the king in the palace uptown and maybe find him a place in the lion's lair. They said,
"Oh, king, you remember the law you made, the one that said that for 30 days the people should pray to you and to you alone? Well, Daniel served you well, it's true, but he's been praying and not to you, and as a committee of concerned citizens, we thought you should know."
Then the king said,
"Daniel, what is this jive? If you think you're gonna walk out alive, then maybe these lions will help you see the light."
But Daniel replied, "The God that I serve is able to deliver from a hungry herd, and even if he won't, I'll still do what is right." Well, the king was blue, but what could he do? That foolish law compelled him to deliver his prophet into the lion's den. So they took Dan down to grab a bite, and the king got ready for a sleepless night, all because he listened to some wicked man. Pray, Daniel, pray. Take it to the one who knows your every need. Pray, Daniel, pray. Heaven's windows open up when you believe. Well, if you want to see the devil run, listen to me. You gotta spend that time down on your knees. You gotta pray like you believe, like Daniel prayed. Then from down below came an awful sound. Those hungry lions were pacing around, and right in the middle was Daniel on his knees. Then one of the lions said, "All right, there's gonna be a prophet on the menu tonight. If you would, save a drumstick for me." Then just as the lions were beginning to fight about who gets dark meat and who gets white, old Daniel's prayer was answered from on high. Because an angel came down to help him out, and with one hand shut those lions' mouths, and he stayed to see him through till the night passed by. Well, the king had tossed and turned all night, and he ran downstairs at early light. He called out,
"Daniel, has your God let you down?"
But Daniel called back, "Have no fear, God came through and I'm still here. You can thank the Lord, your servant is safe and sound." Oh, the king was glad to see his friend, and he knew that God had delivered again, because an angel had kept him safe from the lion's bite. So the king gave praise to Daniel's God, and he had those wicked friends of his brought. You could say the lions feasted royally that night. Pray, Daniel, pray. Take it to the one who knows your every need. Pray, Daniel, pray. Heaven's windows open up when you believe. Well, if you want to see the devil run, listen to me. You gotta spend that time down on your knees. You gotta pray like you believe, like Daniel prayed. Well, if you want to see the devil run, listen to me. You gotta spend that time down on your knees. You gotta pray like you believe. You gotta pray till you receive. You gotta pray like you believe, like Daniel prayed. Meow.
Hey, what a great song. Now, Randy, why don't you go over to see Hannah in the hollow hut? Maybe she has a science lesson that will help us remember the story too.
All right, little squirts, follow me. Yo, Hannah, dude, where are you?
Oh, hey, Randy. I was just finishing logging the results of my latest experiment here. How's it going? Shell bump.
So, dude, Marilyn told us the story of Daniel in the lion's den. You think you got anything around here that might help us remember the point of the story?
Let me think. Daniel prayed, and even when he was thrown into the lion's den, he kept praying and he trusted God. You know what, Randy? There are a couple of things I can show you. What do you do with this, Randy?
Order a pizza.
You could do that, or you could send someone a text or call them. You can even have a video chat. It's a way we can connect with each other.
Right on, right on.
When we pray, when we talk to God, it's a way for us to connect to God. We can't text God or phone God, but we can pray. I have this cup here. Can you keep an eye on it for me, please? Thanks, Randy. And I have a balloon. Let's pretend that this cup is you. This cup will be you, Randy.
But where's the shell, bro?
It's just pretend, Randy. This cup is going to be you. And we'll say that this balloon here is God. The balloon can sit on top of the cup, but that's about it. Let's see if we can get the balloon and the cup closer together. Now, Randy, for this experiment, I'm going to be using matches. It's really important that only adults or trained scientists like myself use matches, all right? Here we go. Let's pretend that the match and the smoke are like our prayers going up to God. Watch what happens. Almost. Let it die down a little bit. There we go. The balloon has gotten so close to the cup that it can actually lift up the cup into the air.
Yo, Hannah, that's really cool.
Do you get it? When we talk to God, it's a way for us to connect to God. When we pray, it draws us closer to God. Just like the smoke from the match brought the balloon and the cup closer together. That's why it's so important that we pray.
Yeah, I totally get it. Daniel was like close to God because he prayed, and so he trusted God. Bro, that's awesome. I love coming to the Hollow Hut. You always have the coolest stuff, Hannah.
Thanks, Randy. I'm going to tidy up a bit, and I'll see you later.
Power from God never stops. He is tops. Power from God never stops. He is tops. Power from God never stops. In the jungle, the daily jungle, it's cool to follow the crowd. In the jungle, we feel peer pressure to do what's not allowed. To be change within your